alone above. Oh, that's the hate couture above. Is what you call love. I think just enough. Comes from below, not above. Choke of love. I call it a hate couture above. Comes below, not above. This is the choke of love.
This is Family Electric Ghost. That's my alter ego, Josephine Electric. This episode is somewhat explicit, so don't be offended. But Josephine plays a character. She's the lead singer of Family Electric Ghost, and I create her with vocoders from Roland. Shameless plug for Roland. But her character is a dominatrix, and when I created Josephine, some of the first impact from some of the initial people who listened to her kind of told me that she sounded like a dominatrix. But I don't know what a dominatrix is supposed to sound like, but I happened to hit that vibe and people felt that that's where she was coming from. And then her content tends to be that, she's in these sadomasochist situations. She's in these S&M dungeons with fetish type of content. And we've always done songs that kind of take that to an extreme and have her playing that kind of alpha dominant role where she is got the whip and chain is in the church. So this particular song is a little different, and she's talking about somebody who's like a doper, they got a choker, and they've got this kind of love that's kind of dissonant. And there's two versions of the song. There's one called Choker, Doper, Joker, Love. And Choker Joker Doper Love. So the one version, the Joker Doper Joker Love, uses a Moog Mother 32 semi-modular analog synth with also a DFAM tied together through CV, controlled voltage, to get a nice sound, and then we play it manually through a Roland Juno GI connected by MIDI. And we also have it getting mixed through an MX1 mixer and a Zoom R24. We also have it being manipulated by a Make Noise Maps module. And initial structure of the song is actually an OPZ for Teenage Engineering. So the initial beat or structure of the song is actually a bunch of sequences on an OPZ using the step components to create a track. And the track is kind of interesting because the step components cause this kind of strange repetition where it's a little random, because you can introduce randomness to some of the step components. So when you actually record the song or play back the song, it runs a little differently every time because of the randomness of the components that you select. So you can have it repeating certain lines at certain points, and it allows you to have a structure that has a steady beat from a typical sequencer, but then has some variation going on that, is very interesting. And I think I like to use it that way in order to give myself, as a one-person band. Because that's what Phantom Electric Ghost is actually a one person making all these sounds, like me. And then Josephine is my alter ego as the lead singer. But it sounds like there's a full band. And that's on purpose. We're trying to sound like a full band. We use a lot of sequencers. And we use sequencers that we can manually manipulate. So most of our sequencers we can actually manually adjust when we play live or record. And as one of our techniques is to do that. When we do our Facebook Live performances, you can see us using our Arturia Beatstep Pro, which was our primary sequencer. But we also use the sequencers on the Moog Mother 32, the Arturia Mini Brute 2S, and the Moog DFAM. In addition to running modulation sequences through the Maths module, and then also the Morphogene sampler, we can run sequences that are sampled sequences. So we have a lot of different capabilities with our software, our hardware, not software, because we're kind of not anti-software, but we're kind of in a situation where we like to use hardware synths rather than soft synths. So most of our synths are hardware synths that we utilize to, be able to play in a very organic kind of jam band format. The reason the Ghost sounds like what we do with a PEG, Phantom Electric Ghost, we sound the way we do is because we don't use a DAW, but we use these analog and digital synths, hardware synths, and we play them live. And we utilize our sequencers to give us the backing tracks. So when we play live, we've got the sound like there's a lot going on, but we have the ability to kind of kick things off because we have all of our controls right at our fingertips. So if you ever see me playing live, you'll see that, I've got a rig with a lot of different ways to interact. I've got my Euro rack where I can interact with that live and change things live. I've got my Arturia. I've got my two keyboards, my JDXI and my Juno GI. I've got my two vocoders, a VT3, a VT4, and a third actually embedded in the JDXI. So we have got a studio with electronics microphone. We have a wireless microphone headset. And then we got our System 1M synth that we manipulate through our Arturia. And we also manipulate our JDXI through our Arturia. And then we can manipulate our analog synths, the Mother 32 and Arturia through the Juno, through MIDI control through the Juno. So we can use the 61 key keyboard on the Juno to actually control our modular analog synths and play them like you would play like a mini Moog or play a grandmother or play any kind of analog synth that actually has a keyboard. And so we are able to MIDI control our analog synths and get a really interesting sound, because the analog synths just have this kind of warmth and they can cut through the mix, and they have a power that you don't really get with non-analog synths. Now, there are digital synths that have amazing sound. You can talk about the Prophet 12, the Prophet X. They've got some capabilities. I mean, a walled-off Quantum. But they usually are hybrid, where they do bring in analog filters. So if you get DCOs or digital controlled oscillators and you have analog filters, you can get a really nice sound, but you still have some analog components to do that. Sorry, I still get over my cold. And it's just, to me, analog will never die, because analog is just something that can cut through your mix and make you have a really fat lead or fat bass line or really awesome atmospherics. Digital synths are really good for pianos. If you want to be able to play a Steinway, you want to be able to play like a German piano, if you want really nice bells, and more additive synthesis stuff than subtractive. If you want those type of sounds, sometimes using digital synths, modern digital synths, they can get you that way, or, like Yamahas and Prophets, Waldorf, even Roland's DSP synths, like the System 8, which is a big love of mine. If Roland's ever listening, I would love for them to give me a System 8. But it's actually faking analog. Maybe not faking, but being able to replicate analog. But also can do some really cool things that analog couldn't do. Like be able to layer a Juno 106 on top of a Jupiter 8, which you could never do at the time they were built. But in this thing, you can. Now, whether or not it has the full sound that like a Moog 1 has, or a Prophet 6, or maybe an OB6, maybe not. But it does have that classic Jupiter 8 sound, as good as you can get, unless you're going to go find a $10,000 Jupiter 8. It has a pretty good 106 sound too. Regardless, this song, we got two versions of it. One that actually has the Moog line, which is the Choker Doper Joker Love. And then we've got the one that doesn't have the Moog line. It's all Teenage Engineering. Both songs have the Teenage Engineering OPZ that we used for the basic tracks. And the first track that you hear on here actually has the Moog, which I think changes the character of the song, and it's probably the one I'm going to release. As I indicated before, we are now signed on two labels. We have a single or two songs from the same cloth. You still have some Personal Demons to Betray. It's on Mojo Head Records. It's going to come out on the 12th. You can see it like on all the streaming services and all the platforms. Pretty excited that we got a contract for that one song. And it actually did a remix of it as well. So there's two extra songs going out, one a remix and one the regular version. This was a totally analog song. On the original version, the remix, it does have some digital DAW stuff that the Mojo Heads did. So it was like a 50-50 collab on that. But then the other thing we're excited about is we signed with Bentley Records out of New York City. And we got a bunch of songs we've submitted to be singles, and we're working on a record. Right now, the record is it's titled Violets. And it's going to be a collection that normally we've been talking about Dark Ghost albums, but we're kind of keeping the Dark Ghost album as something we're going to put through Landar, because the stuff that we already put out, we're just collecting them into a big collection. Like I said, a 2.5 hour collection called Dark Ghost Volume 1. That's a separate project we're going to put out sometime this year, maybe by Christmas or before that. Excuse me. But Violets, if it's approved, I've got a track list configuration for Violets, and going to send it to Bentley Records shortly, and we'll see if they go with what I propose. We have a bunch of singles that will be coming, and we're excited that we finally have a label. Hopefully we'll get some of these songs, on the radio. We'll get them on YouTube. We'll get them on all the platforms. Maybe we can get them into radio and TV and advertising, video games, whatever. We're hoping that the weight of working with the label gets us a little further than we've been able to get before. So hope you guys enjoy this. This episode was explicit because the content with Josephine's talking very sexual in this version. So we finally marked this one as explicit. Hope you don't mind, and we'll talk to you later.
Joke of love, it comes from below, not above. Well, in the gaps that have to fall, oh, you gonna get it up. And this is joke of love, it comes from below, not above. Oh, and that's a Hate Couture is what you call love. I think just enough. Comes from below, not above. Joke of love. I call it a Hate Couture. Comes below, not above. This is a joke of love. Oh, I know that I can't run when you're deep in that stuff. Hate Couture, it got not the blood. In the opium you trust, in ash you lie, and you rush to that fire, and you can't get enough. This joke of love comes from below, not above. Yeah, I need that thing, and I hate so thing. Yeah, I need that thing, I'll make y'all not sing. Yeah, I need that thing.